Sanderson in next position, then Demetriou. Then a gap to Ashley Sanderson. So good running there from Newling. He's just gone past Egner. So 3 3/4 laps of the track here for the 1500 metres. Race M for the Milers Club. So no change in position. Thomas leads it. Been there the whole time. Sanderson in next position. Demetriou, Sanderson. Then we have, Zach Sanderson's in the next position. Then Jasper Gay, Josiah Backer. And then we have Newling and Egner.
7.
Sorry, it's Alfie Lambert sitting there in second position. I called that one wrong. Looks like Demetriou is just getting a little bit of a head of steam. They're going through the 800 metre mark now. So over halfway through the journey. Demetriou looking good, just perched on the back there of Lambert and ready to pass. Angus Thomas still leading the way. So nice bit of work here by Lambert. He's just working his way towards the back of Thomas and taking Demetriou with him, who just sitting there off the back of the younger runner. So this is where they're going to really, they're going through the 1 kilometre mark now. So Demetriou's made the big move. Coming through to get the bell. So Demetriou. Thomas tucked in nicely. Lambert, Sanderson, Jasper Gay, Josiah Backer, Newling and Egner in that order. So Demetriou just starting to stretch out the lead down the back straight now, out to about 10 metres, and that is extending. Lambert looking good. The two Sandersons side by side at the moment. This will be a run for pride. Let's get behind Egner too as he goes through to get 1 lap to go. So Demetriou, well-judged race. Lambert's now made his move over Thomas, the early leader. The two Sandersons are now closing in as well. But a polished performance here from Jamie Demetriou. Unfortunately, without the infield clock, I can't give you too much more information, but it's a very solid run here from Demetriou. Lambert's also run well. It is Sanderson Senior, I think, who's taken the ascendancy over Junior. But yeah, good win there for Demetriou. He's happy with that. Lambert next. Then Ashley Sanderson. Zach Sanderson, oh, just a step behind. Great run there from Thomas, led most of the way. Backer, good run from him, coming over the top of Jasper Gay. And big finish here from Rob Newling. Let's get behind him. Very good finish. In the air, nice work there, Rob. So he'll close out. As I said, unfortunately, we haven't got the infield clock. Might mean I've got to use my stopwatch.
180, I'd say.
So Egner coming around by the water jump, 150 to go. So big finish here for Egner. Let's get behind him. All the way from Ballarat. YCW, great supporters of Milers Club, as we said. Good to see them back here again. So a regular here at Milers Club is William Egner, and he'll notch up another 1500 performance. And that'll close out our first event there, the men's M 1500.
There are
Oh,
20,
yeah, no.
21 races, 4 800s and 18 15s.
22, you reckon?
22 races, yep.
The state was past its first test. It's something I haven't got, as I've been told many times.
Bit of attrition in that
No,
group.
that's one. It's holding areas. Starter's not. Oh, there's a little sign right in the way where he is now.
I know, he's got to move around it.
Yeah, not that I need to see it. But
She wouldn't point the gun when he's giving the
Next event on the track, the men's L 1500 full field of 9 starters. In Station 1 from Mornings Peninsula, Michael Thomas. Station 2 from Yarra Ranges, Craig Hewitson. In 3 from St Kevin's, Dino Imbriano. In 4 from, it's an independent runner, it's Matthew Holding. In 5 from Mornings Peninsula, Will Pratt. In 6 from St Kevin's, Joel Imbriano. In 7 from Glen Huntley, Liam and Michelle. In 8 from Yarra Ranges, Matthew Morrison. And in 9 from Doncaster, Aidan Marasco. So 9 starters in the men's L 1500.
On your marks.
Sun's up. Got one up before I was expecting to.
So just another reminder to the runners who are turning up to the track, we want you to really observe the schedule. The schedules are also pinned up against the walls in many locations. We don't want you over near the check-in zone until it's your turn to race, okay? We don't need that zone crowded at all. So check the schedule and only report in when it's your report in time. So Will Pratt leads the way. Matt Morrison next position to the outside, then Liam Michelle. Nicely bunched.
9, 3, 6, 9.
number 9 again.
Mr. President, could you instruct that official to walk out of the line of sight of the time?
So setting a nice pace there is Will Pratt. They're going through the 400. Morrison content to just sit behind. And then a few of the younger runners, including Imbriano and Michelle, just off the back there.
So who's on the gate now, is it? Oh, okay. Are they letting any others in just...
Morrison takes the lead. Michelle follows him through. Pratt now sitting in third. I think Imbriano then 4. Hewitson in next position. So Morrison now just upping the pace here. Michelle, Pratt, then Imbriano, then Holding, Hewitson, then Thomas, Imbriano, and then Marasco. So big shout out to Dino Imbriano. Was at the first Milers Club back in probably November 2005. So over 15 years. So that qualifies for Dino for long service amongst the Milers Club.
Oh, okay.
The closer you are.
Oh, it's on.
Yeah.
I haven't sworn once.
I was going to ask about that. I
The
don't
number
sweat that.
coding is good that you're doing.
So Morrison, Michelle, Pratt, Holding now moving into 4th position. Michelle looking quite toey at the moment. Morrison doing the work out front. A little bit of a breeze here at Duncan McKinnon. I think it's going to be a home straight headwind. But the field really stretched out, which means the pace is relatively solid. No bunching at the moment. They're just in that long line of 9 runners, with Matt Morrison in the Yarra Rangers colours leading the way. Michelle, as I said, looking very towy as they come down, and they'll get 1 lap to go.
Now what do I do at the finish here? Forgotten already.
Jal made the big move there. As I said, he was looking very comfortable early, and he's really set off for home 200 metres out. Morrison holding second. Pratt, the early leader, is making a big charge now. Gap then to Holding, then Thomas. Then we have Imbriano. Also, that looks like Marasco. Then Imbriano Senior and Hewitson. But Pratt, early leader here. Will Pratt's having a bit of a go. It's going to go hang to the outside here. Michelle's going to be challenged, but the young man responds and responds again. This is going to be a great battle. Pratt is just surging on. Michelle tries once more, but it looks like Will Pratt, Mornings Peninsula, is going to take this one. A nice rough Melbourne colours. Marasco. Imbriano Jr. gets bragging rights over Imbriano Senior tonight. Good run, Dino. And Craig Hewitson, Yarra Rangers, will take final spot there in the men's L, 1,500 metres.
Testing 1, 2.
We've got to keep our brain on this stuff.
We do. Wait, another one, Len? Oh, have to. Oh, that's keep coming. You're doing the job of 3 people, then. That's right, yeah, you get extra pay. So you will be exhausted at the end of it.
First of our women's event over on the starters marshals' hands at the moment, and this is the women's E 1,500 metres. We will have 6 starters. Grace Wilson from Doncaster, Matea Demetriou from St Kevin's, Piper Gay, also Cara Gilbert from Glen Huntly, Tiana
On your marks.
Just covering it up a bit. No? Nobody's going to be
And we're on for event 3 of the evening, the women's E 1500 metres. In lane 1, or hip number 1, we have Nina Bujau. Hip number 2, Grace Wilson. Hip number 3, Mattia Dimitriou. Number 4, Piper Gay. Number 5, Cara Gilbert. Number 6, Tiana Postans. Number 7, Sienna Rowe. And number 8, Greta Ashley. So seed times in this event ranging from about a 5:23 up to 6:29. So there will be a fair spread of runners, a fair spread of PBs. So we'd expect them to, as we already have seen, athletes spread quite a way across the track. And that is in shot right now, Tiana Postans and Grace Wilson chasing just been passed. Actually, that is Sienna Rowe who's up the front of this field, as we see the hip numbers as they come past with 2 laps to go, followed by Piper Gay, Grace Wilson and Mattia Dimitriou. We just missed the clock or the time on this, see how they're tracking. We promise we will get better as the stream goes on with keeping everyone up to date on PBs and seed times as they go. And it seems we've only got 6 of the 8 runners in this event as well. So joining me in the commentary box tonight is Lachie Moorhouse. I am Michael Masseni, so proud to, or pumped to be joining everyone for another season of Milers Club. Probably thought this wasn't going to happen going back a couple of months ago, Lachie. It's to check in when we go into the venue today. There's a bit of a process that you might see in the infield to people in their bunted off area, warming up separately to everyone. There are 5 session times this evening as well, as we see Sienna Rowe crossing the line and coming in one lap to go. Tiana Postans is up there as well in second position, followed by Piper Gay.
Yeah, we saw Postans and Rowe a bit earlier, neck and neck, but it looks like Rowe's made a decisive move here through the bell, starting to stretch out down the back straight. Gay also making a good move on Postans, who went out pretty hard.
She's really shooting ahead now. Wow. Very nice athlete.
And this is a battle on screen now that we're seeing for second and third, as Sienna Rowe from Doncaster is about 80 metres up the track. Quite a strong run. We haven't got a time on this as yet. You'd suggest she would be heading towards a, well, it's got to be season's best because the season's just started. Let's say personal best. 4:55 is the time right now on the clock. She'll tick over just over 5 minutes, coming off a seed time of around 5.5 minutes. So massive PB from Sienna Rowe from Doncaster, crossing the line in first position. Piper Gay in second place and Tiana Postans in third, the athletes from Box Hill. That's followed by Dimitriou and Wilson of St Kevin's and Doncaster Athletics. And we can see athletes doing the customary elbow tap at the end of the at the end of the race. Handshakes and hugs are gone. And we see on screen now Cara Gilbert finishing off the 3 3/4 lap race here at Duncan McKinnon.
Just watch the track, that's all.
We've had 2 men's and one woman so far.
I think there are 5.
President Dad's his son. Simon's fault if we are.
Well, he's got nowhere to move, having negotiated a price of 0.
On your marks.
Guns up, man.
Any increase on that is he's lost his credibility. That's right. Open to curiosity, open slow.
And we're up to the 4th event of this evening, the men's K 1500 metres. So we've got about 20 events on the, or 22 events or races on the list today for the first meet back. That is because there was a limit to the amount of people that we can have at the track racing. As we mentioned, in 5 session times, 4 or 5 races per session. So the men's K 4th event of the evening. And with heap number 1, we have David Leeton. Heap number 2, Cooper Proven. Number 3, Jamie Rosstron. Number 4, Russell Jenkins. Number 5, Rory Craig. Number 6, Joshua Calen. Number 7, Andrew Turver. Number 8, Matthew Blashke. Number 9, Samuel Skodala. And 10 is Charles Sutherland. And it seems to be Matthew Blashke, or could be Andrew Turver. We're going to have to see when they come across. I think it is Turver, who's broken away from the rest of the field with a lead of about 15 odd metres. Then they are quite tightly packed behind. Their PBs are pretty close together across the field, so you would expect a quite tightly packed race. A lot of juniors and a few of the older men who are familiar faces at Milers Club, battling it out. Always love seeing the men and the younger up and coming athletes on the same race, all seated around the same time.
Yeah, so it's Turver out in front. He's got a seed time of 4:50, but we've got a few other guys in the field with seed times in the 4:45 kind of range. So it'll be interesting to see if they can peg him back here. Pretty tight pack behind him. If they can start to work together, they might chip away at Turver.
And going through 2 laps, Lachie, he's gone through in about 2:27, which to go his 4:55 is that's well under his pace. So hopefully he can hang on for another 2 laps.
Well, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's such a smooth mover. Looks comfortable out the front and really holding that lead. Although there are a few others just behind. Joshua Carlin, one in that pack. Another is Jamie Rosstron, who is moving into second place in that Glenn Huntley uniform. But still, Turver holds that lead of about 20 odd metres on the rest of the field as he chases a PB of 4:55.
So the Mornington Peninsula duo out in front together. Turver starting to struggle a little bit, looks like. Still holding a pretty decent lead, but his club mate, looks like Matthew Lachie, he is moving well down the back straight. We'll see what Turver's got when he goes past him, if he can latch on, see how he goes.
That's what we were talking about earlier, Lachie, the battles between the older athletes and the younger up-and-comers, and looks like experience is going to win off here in this battle.
It's great to see. I'm sure some of the older athletes will pull out the old, back in my prime I would have run a 350, not a 450. But he doesn't have anything to worry about here, does Blashke. He's taking care of this last lap beautifully.
And just noticed Turver at 200 metres to go, checking his watch, as you do when you're a junior. Every race can be a PB. I remember those days. Joshua Calen coming up on the shoulder of Turver, as does Rory Craig, to finish in a very strong time. 4:38 for Blashke, 4:41 for the next three athletes coming through. So PBs all round for the front finishers in this race.
That was a brave effort from Turner. Still finished reasonably well. He went out hard. And that's what we like to see at Milers Club. Nice tight fields. You see they all cross the line in very similar times, and that's the best way to race. And if you want to run a PB, that's the way to do it.
4:37. A very important person now, then.
Okay, so next up on the track will be the women's D race, starting in the next minute or so. Once the race kicks off, we will read you the competitors who are on that start line. And we might be waiting more than just 1 minute. Hang in there, shouldn't be too long, but there is a just a tech issue here at the track, so we might just be 1 or 2 minutes away while the timing clock gets sorted, so we'll be back pretty soon. Not much that can go wrong in a running race, but the timing is probably one of those essential things.
Good idea.
Okay. If you wanted to go on outside,
like we're riding in here. So let's introduce the field in the second women's 1500s, which is the D race. Morning Peninsula, David Armstrong. From Henry Girls, Rosstron. We also have Olivia Sandringham, George Shepard.
Here we go again.
Sandringham, below, and also from Vauxhall and Austin. And then last time from the women's key 1500 metres.
On your marks.
And underway in the women's D 1500 metres, the last race of this first session. As we mentioned before, there is 5 separate sessions due to getting people in and out of the facility for COVID regs. So there will be a short 15-minute break in timetables between racing blocks. Going back to the track, we have with hip number 1, Freya Brown from Mornington Peninsula. I've committed to saying the club name after each one now. We'll test my skills. Hip 2, Rosie Linus. Nope, can't do that abbreviation. Number 3, Nicole Pennings. Number 4, Emily Misford. Number 5, Olivia DaCosta. Number 6, Orla Shackloff. Number 7, Joanne Pratt. Number 8, Amber Lowe. Number 9, Annabelle Smith. Annabelle Smith is from Box Hill. I got that one down.
Pretty easy one for you, Mick.
Yeah. So the spread of PBs, well, they started at about 5 minutes 20, so we are looking at a 125 per lap to get a PB, and they've gone about 10 seconds under that for their first lap, as you might tend to do as a younger athlete who's a bit excited on the first race of the season and try and hang on after that. So in the mix there is Nicole Pennings. She's just moved to the front of Athletics Nunawading in the green crop top there. A couple of the Sandringham athletes in Orla Shackloff and Amber Lowe.
Looks to be a solid pack for me out in front here. 4 girls looking pretty strong.
And even behind them as well, there's a few athletes for everyone to run with to chase around. But this front pack will be interesting to see what they do for the next 2 laps here. And Rosie Linus is the other athlete in that front pack that we mentioned. So Amber Lowe, Orla Shackloff, Rosie Linus, and Nicole Pennings making up that top 4. So time to come around after 2 laps should be about 2:50 if they're aiming for their 5 minutes 20, and they're going at about 5 minute pace. They're going to get huge PBs if they're able to hang on for the next couple of laps, Lock.
Yeah, that's right, Mick. For a single file down the back now, the pace starting to stretch a few of them.
My tips for Rosie Linus, just because I like her flashy orange shoes. It's very easy to spot on the back straight.
I did notice she was running almost in lane 2 going around the bend before, which is not regulation but full of confidence. A few extra metres might not worry Rosie Linus.
That's a rookie mistake, going that extra 3.5 around the around each bend in lane 2. I wonder if everyone's been getting used to the old Strava time trial over summer, and we'll have a few people stop their GPS once it hits the 1.5 kilometre mark tonight.
Oh, that's criminal. That's criminal. You can't be doing that. You got to always check when they've started and stopped their watch. See someone do a 5K and they've started and stopped in the same spot.
My biggest bugbear of the last 6 months has been great to see so many people getting into the into sport, and running's been a new love of theirs. But yeah, a bit of education in that area wouldn't go astray. As they come around for 300 metres to go, still about 15 seconds under that 5-minute 20 mark that a lot of them are chasing. So I would say the top 3 athletes at least, if not the top 4 here, are going to collect PBs. It's just a matter of how many seconds by that will be.
That's your tip out in front, Mick. Flashy shoes, they always pay off.
That's it. I think they might even be red shoes. We know red's a fast colour.
Red goes fast. See if that's a theme for the night.
So Rosie Linus, Orla Shackloff and Amber Lowe are your top 3 as they round the bend, coming into about 120 metres to go. Nicole Pennings in 4th position. Led strong early, just hanging on. Maybe she'll get under that 5:20 mark as well.
Linus really gritting the teeth here. Could break that 5-minute barrier. Looks like she will. That's a great run.
Orla Shackloff and Amber Lowe. The next couple of athletes also gain around about that 5-minute mark, maybe a tick under or thereabouts. Nicole Pennings. And for the first time, Olivia DaCosta, we've mentioned, she crosses the finish line in about 5:12. Freya Brown, Emily Mifsud, and Annabelle Smith. And to round out the field, Joanne Pratt coming through in a time of 5:28 in the women's D 1500 metres. And that completes our first block or first session of races today. As we mentioned, there is 5 session times to filter people in and out of the venue. It's not the ideal scenario that we've been lucky to have in past years, building groups and groups of spectators trackside and up on the hill and everything, but it is nice to get racing back nonetheless, and this is a compromise that we have to reach. So just happy to be able to bring this to you on the screen, because not everyone's able to make it to the venue tonight.
I think Linus might have crossed the line there in about 4:54, 55, and her seed time was entered at about 5:15. So that's a great run. Take that to open your season any day of the week.
100% big pre-season by a few of the girls there, I'd say. COVID period hasn't gone to waste.
And a few new pairs of shoes.
Yeah, new shoes always help.
Share the accommodation. person in that area. It is. Well, even if all those were, but at least we know now how to operate those. Drop them. That's just probably what first time I used said that. Aim of it, no, that was it. Well, we are, but we haven't got a concrete. Well, no, because they never had a win. And if they're in the regs the same as us, but they don't see, like, it's sort of where they quite fit. No, that's all right. I've been asking to run the show. We're doing everything. Doing photos to the John Blake. Well, what? Man, too much pressure. We've got 3.5 minutes. Well, we'll either have what we think. We'll have a losing.
On your marks. Toes off. Stand up, please. Check your toes off the line, thanks.
A few nerves early there, Mick.
On your
That's
mark.
it, Toey, to get the season underway.
So
So-
you don't blame him. None of that back in the time trials.
That's it. And we've got, what do we have? 10 odd competitors in this race. In the men's J. So this is the first session, or first race of session 2 for the evening. So 5 sessions, 22 races.
Going off your theory in the last race, Mick, we've got, I think that's Daniel Plotkin there in the red shoes. Look out for him.
The fast shoe theory.
Fast shoe theory. Looks like he's on the back of Will Orchard there for Glenn Huntley.
So read out competitors for this men's J1500. We do have Will Orchard, who is in the
lane
mix
2 on
there.
the
He's
bend.
in
That's
lane
where he is.
2. We have Calen Luong, Daniel Plotkin, Brodie Atchison, Oliver Pratt, Austin Fernando, Ross Pentland, Finn Kane, Amal Benipal, and James McInerney. Very easy names to say. They just rolled off the tongue. Usually I stumble at somewhere on the list.
So it's the Box Hill athlete out in front. Calen Long. Looking nice and relaxed.
Once again, we have that combo of young up-and-comers and older athletes. I say older, but they might just be taller. Instead of,
Few early developers.
that's it, significant height differences in this race. Finn Kane is in second position there, is the invite athlete.
Looks like Will Orchard and Daniel Plotkin hatching a bit of a move together from the back as they just move past that South Melbourne runner. See if they can get in the back of this pack of 3 behind the leader.
See
Who is
Brodie
Calen Long, who's looking very good.
Atchison right up there as well in the mix. So this is actually probably one of the densest races that we've seen of the evening, I'd say. Everyone's pretty tightly packed. And the bulk of the athletes, so 4:40 is the mark for a lot of them, and their PBs are only separated by 5 seconds. And most of the field has gone under that PB pace of 4:40, or about 1 minute 15 per lap.
Big pack behind Calen Long here. See if they can start to work together and chip away at that lead he's got. With probably 600 to run. Long out in front, looking strong. Long and strong.
Quick look over his left shoulder though, see where everyone else is. He's got too much fresh air in between himself and the rest of the field. He must be a bit nervous with 1 lap to go, even though
Is that a
he
good
is.
sign or a bad sign, Mick?
No, I don't know. I reckon he's got enough space to breathe easily. 1 lap to go, 3:24 he goes through, which is well under that PB pace for him. The whole field is well under PB pace.
Looks like Daniel Plotkin there in 3rd place. He's trying to get past that 2nd place runner. Starting to wind it up. Probably one of the smaller athletes in the field, but he's got plenty of fight. Get that cadence up to about 260, I reckon.
Well above that magical 180.
Don't worry about it. So Long out in front. Looks like he's going to weather the storm.
That's it, he had nothing to worry about at all. Still a massive lead, and he will collect a PB as he charges down this front straight. We have Finn Kane, Austin Fernando and Brodie Atchison chasing hard for the, we'll say the minor medals, even though it's the men's J race this evening. 10-second PB for Long. Fernando, Atchison and Orchard to round out the top 4.
And there's a few wounded soldiers down on the finish line. That's what you love to see. The young fellas have given it their absolute best. Racing's back, boys. That's what it feels like.
Unless it's really heavy though, I find some stage it feels like another stage it feels like it hasn't been heavy. And then when it's dark and cold towards the end, all good, Tony?
On your marks.
And we hear the gun go bang for race. Where is that? Race 7 of the evening, men's I, 1,500 metres. And once again, the PBs are only separated by 6 seconds here. We have with hip number 1, Andy White of Old Scotch in the red jersey. Bart Leeton is number 2 from Old Scotch. Number 3 is Samuel Pearce from Ballarat YCW. Number 4, Michael, or is that Mikkel? Mikkel. That's almost my name, Michael. Michael Susan. Mick Susan from Glen Huntley. Soongil Hong from Mentone. Kennedy Chen from Box Hill. Lachlan Stewart from Old Scotch. Lachlan Marasco from Doncaster. Ben Forster from St Kevin's, and Angus Ashworth from Old Melburnians to round out the field.
Just quickly, Mick, I think it's Ben Forster from St Kevin's did one of the fastest strides you'll ever see before this race, about 30 seconds before it got underway. Absolute lightning. He might have a calling over the shorter distances after watching that.
He's zapped all his ATP stores already, I think.
A couple of
nervous
extra seconds.
That's it, nervous if there's a fast finish for him. Move into that lactic system running.
Brave move early from Bart Leeton. He's waiting for no man. He is off.
Yeah, we said the PBs were fairly tightly packed together, but the development that we see in off-season from some of these junior athletes is so massive that Yeah, he might have been doing some training sessions lately and knows that he's not in 4:34 form anymore. He's a 4:30 runner. He's a 4:25 runner based off some of his sessions. So he'd come in with all the confidence in the world. We'll see what he can do, whereas he's running 30, 40 metres ahead of the rest of the field. And that is his teammate in Lachlan Stewart, followed by Samuel Pearce to round out that top three. Andy White coming around the shoulder of Ben Forster from St Kevin's into fourth position. So Andy White from Old Scotch, not traditionally a track superstar, comes from more a triathlon distance running background, so great to see him on the track taking on 1,500 metres tonight as he moved into second position.
I really like this move he's making. We've seen Bartlett can go out hard, and the old man has just worked his way through the fields patiently, and he looks like he's got plenty in the legs. But we'll see what Bartlett can do. He's going great guns at the moment.
That maturity and patience sometimes pays off, and maybe the fact that you haven't done a 1,500 in a while and not quite sure of what your ability is. So it's great to see Andy White chasing Bart Leeton hard. Bart Leeton has taken it from the gun though, and he is charging towards that finish line with 1 lap to go. Let's see how this pans out over the next 400 metres.
I reckon the sunnies there on Andy White. They're dead giveaways to triathlete. You know a triathlete when you run past one on Beach Road, don't you? I reckon this is set up for a good finish here. Leeton's still going strong, but White making a pretty good move down the back. See what Leeton's got left in the tank. He's put the head down. I think White's going with the long sustained kick down.
Just grinded away at that gap, and now he'll get on Leeton's shoulder any second now. I wonder if Leeton is aware that he's being chased. We can see he looks stronger in the in that view on the camera now.
He's gritting the teeth. These young guys have a lot of fight. Let's see what he's got.
This is going to be an awesome
He's got
finish.
a shock and he's got a kick. Andy White it is. Well, you got to respect Leeton for that run. He bladed out all out in the line, and he was pipped just late in the home straight.
That's it.
He'll be better for that. See Hong crossing the line now, sporting some nice pink shorts.
Oh, alrighty. No, you're not.
walk across there, please. Guys, boys. You right, Meg? Get out of the way. Yep, all clear.
On your marks.
So they're underway here in the women's C 1500 metres. Very tight seating times here, so we can see how the girls go. Should be tightly packed. Let's go through the starters from station 1, Brianna Corral. Station 2, Imogen Baker. 3, Chloe Anderson. Hip number 4, Laura Perez. 5, Louise Ton. 6, Louisa Lazar. 7, Kate Seibold. 8, Nadra Adem. 9, Aslan Jansen. 10, Abby Hickey. And 11, Christine Ashton. So as we said earlier, very tight seating times here, and it looks like most of the field working together.
Except for Abby Hickey. She's not working with anyone.
Abby Hickey is not working with anyone. She is on a mission. And we've seen this a fair bit tonight. We've seen few athletes very keen back to be back at the races. I think just about every race so far we've had one solo runner out in front. Some successful, some not so lucky. But that is a big pack behind. And we'll see how this race unfolds.
I like it. It's very reminiscent of Tour de France and the old cycling peloton and the breakaway.
Through the 400 there in bang on 120.
If you
perfect pacing.
That's it. That elusive 5-minute 1500 is what a lot of the athletes would be chasing, having PBs of 5:00 to 5:12. And what better way to do it at Milers Club, where you can run side by side or a step behind someone else.
Unless you're Abby Hickey.
She doesn't want to bar of it.
Behind anyone.
It is interesting to see when these moves are made by someone, taking the race, going far out in front. When they get past, if they take that opportunity and just settle into the pack again, or if they get spat out the back. So we'll see in the nicest possible way. We'll see what happens with Abby Hickey now as they have 2 laps to go.
It's always easier said than done, isn't it, Mick? You just say, just latch back on, you'll be all right. But it's not that easy.
Yeah, especially in such a quick race like a 1500, definitely an 800. It's maybe more in a 3K or 5K. You might sort of get a second wind, but it's one of those shorter races where you got to really pace yourself well.
Looks like she's done all right here so far. The pack's caught up and only one's gone past her, which is Diamond Valley's Chloe Anderson.
And you never know the reason as well. Sometimes, she might have been way out in front, looked over her shoulder and thought, oh no, this wasn't the plan.
She might have wanted some help.
Yeah.
Some strong moves being made here.
Kate Seibold with the fancy pink shoes coming in second position there, the athlete from Knox. She's following Chloe Anderson, our leader from Diamond Valley.
Imogen Baker from Morning Peninsula latched on in 3rd place as these 3 haven't shaken the pack yet, but it does look like they might be clearing out. So it's Anderson still through the bell. About 3:42.
Louisa Lazar, Louise Ton in our 4th and 5th positions. Abby Hickey still hanging on in 6th as well. But it still is Chloe Anderson at the front of the field. And coming through 300 metres to go, pretty much spot on 5 minutes pace. So the first 3 athletes, fair chance to get around 5 minutes dead for this race.
So see Anderson can hold off Baker here. She made a pretty bold move about this time last lap to move to the front. She's still leading, but Baker slowly mowing her down. It's with Anderson trying to maintain her form, but Baker looks the goods here. Very solid move. I reckon she started it with about 300 to go, just bided her time, nice and patient, and she's going to reap the rewards here. Anderson still battling on, but it's all Imogen Baker. Fantastic running. She's come down to the line, 57, 58.
Oh, Louisa Lazar in second place. And Laura Perez, a couple of names that we didn't call out until later in the race or at all. So strong finishes. It's always people towards the back of the pack that make those moves that you don't quite often catch. And a handful of PBs for these athletes towards the front of the field.
That's right. Baker had a seed time of 5:02, and to the naked eye, I'll probably give her 4:58 low. So you take that, just open the season. Great run from the girls.
On your marks. Stand up, please. Check your toes behind the line, thanks. On your marks.
You'd be spewing to false start in a in a distance race, wouldn't we?
So yeah, it was very close there. If we can't review the footage, but it looked like one of the boys in the inside lane almost did. You would be spewing though, but I think the Milers Club officials are a bit more lenient.
Then at the championship, you know, I
Pretty
saw a
generous.
cross-country race once that got false started.
Really?
They went about 50 metres down the park, then they kept blowing their gun and get everyone back. So
Cross
you've
country
gotta be
style's
kidding.
pretty wild. Good luck getting some of them back. They're off.
So athletes in this men's H, the 9th race of the evening, 9 of 22 events here at Duncan McKinnon Reserve in lane or hip number 1. We have Ashton Sin from Doncaster, who is sitting in 3rd position currently. Hip number 2, Kevin Zog from Glen Huntley. Number 3, Andy Fuller from Richmond. Number 4, Ranveer Guja from Box Hill. Number 5, Adam Braverman from Glen Huntley. Nicholas Chambers also from Glen Huntley. Amila Jayalath is in invitation athlete. Terry Tsitsakis is from Glen Huntley. And James Paproth from Old Melburnians to round out the field of 9.
Nicely done, Mick, and it does look like Kevin Zoe out in front. I've seen this man Strava. I think he might only be in year 9, but he regularly clocks 100k a week. Definitely not textbook, but he is confident in his ability here. He's gone straight to the front, and he's looking to dictate terms.
Yeah, he's certainly got me on Strava at the moment, that's for sure.
I reckon he's got me as well.
Maybe both of us combined. So 4:30 is the seed time that most of these athletes are actually put down for this race, 4:30 to 4:32.
I've just heard Tim Crosby call out the second place runner as Sakaridis, and I'm glad he's done it because I'm not too sure about that pronunciation.
Sakaridis. I knew I butchered that name, so
It's
Terry
all right, Mick.
Sakaridis.
I wouldn't have done much better. We're going with Sakaridis, but Kevin Zhu out in front. Glenn Huntley, relatively prominent in this race. See him sporting the baby blue. It's a nice looking uniform.
And that whole pack there coming through after 2 laps, pretty much smack on that 4:30 pace that a lot of them are chasing. Kevin Zhu out the front of the field is well ahead of his PB pace or his seed time. So as you said, Lachie clearly been putting in a pre-season, many Ks. Now he's come on track for the first race, ready to unleash.
I think this man's built for the roads based on his Strava. He clocking that many Ks at that age. He'll have a long cool down, I'd suspect. Got to get that Strava graph looking nice and neat. But he's looking good here. I think he'd be mainly concerned with taking the win. And at this stage, it's looking likely. He's looking fantastic out in front.
And he's gone the half tights as well. That means that's got to count for a few seconds over a 1500.
That means business. That's what that means.
Yeah. And also Sakaridis as well in second place, rolling the half tights. It's an elite kit you've got if you're wearing half tights for 1500 metres. More and more people have been going with that fashion choice over the past couple of years. So
I think if Stewie McSwain maintains his rise to prominence, they might be wearing arm sleeves soon.
Bit warm for arm sleeves tonight, but
yeah, I think Stewie's rule is over 20 degrees. They're not coming out, so maybe the young fellas have been listening. Real good move coming here.
We've got a race on our hands as well. Kevin Zhu better watch over his shoulder as the rest of the field starts charging towards him.
It's been a fantastic move. We don't have the hip number.
Having a blank singlet, that may be a Miller. Jaylath,
the independent. Here he comes. And Kevin Zhu's got a problem on his hands right now. Jaylath levels up. Zhu fighting hard on the inside, but Jaylath looks like he's got the goods here. That was a great move. Looked like it was Zhu versus Daylight for a lot of that race. But Jaylath has come through beautifully and he takes the win there.
just dipping under that 4:30 mark as well.
Quite literally on the dip.
Sakaridis as well, PB of 4:32. I think he was pretty much dead on 4:32 right there.
He's just giving himself a whack on the thigh. I'm not sure if that's frustration or just a bit tired. He's having a look at the watch.
Whacking the thigh to wake it up.
Yeah.
He's got these fancy shoes on as well. They look like those fresh new Nike ones.
Wouldn't mind a pair of those.
White with the colourful tick. Actually, there they'll look at it. Half the field has those shoes on.
Oh, I think they're going to be pretty prominent tonight. Can't say I have a pair myself. If I did, I might be racing, but...
And how those cool Steigen socks as well, the old Kenyan flag on the side.
Yeah,
He's got a bit of swagger, old Terry.
I'm a big sock fan, if you can. I'd say they're very nice socks on no socks for me. But yeah, I reckon I could rock those from Steigen.
Okay, next event on the track will be the men's G race. So that is the 10th event of the night and the last event of this second session.
On your marks.
So a clean start from the boys here in the men's G 1500 metres. Seemed to be a bit of an issue tonight. I think we've had 2 races where they've had to stand up. A few nervous boys, quite literally towing the line. Pretty decent field here. From Station 1, Matthew Shapezi. Station 2, Joshua Augustinus. 3, Matthew Goff. In 4, we've got Tommy Clucko. In 5, Chris Winter. In 6, Benjamin Purser. 7, Nathan Munro. 8, Tom Worsling. 9, Murray Lavas. And 10, Michael Johnson.
Leading us out.
Oh, and the Sunnies, they've got to be a second or 2.
No half-tights out there, though.
No.
Missed opportunities by many athletes.
They were all sold out after the last race.
Munro coming on the inside of Matthew Goff of Mentone, Benjamin Purser and Joshua Augustinus are still the top 2 athletes in this field. The rest of the field is quite tightly packed. We see Michael Johnson just falling off the back, the athlete from Richmond Athletics, and Chris Winter from Glen Huntly, who we've already mentioned. As for the rest of the field, it's anyone's race from this point. We have been mistaken a few times already tonight for not focusing on everyone in the field and missed some late charges. But still, the top 3, Augustinus, Purser and Munro, has been for the last few hundred metres.
They're really bunching up here. I think we're going to be on for a great last 500 metres. The boys just coming around the bend now. I think leading into that bell lap, they always get a little bit edgy. People start to make their move. They want to get in position.
So a couple of old Scotch teammates in Tommy Clucko and Tom Worsning are right in that mix as well. It's going to be anyone's race here from Bendigo.
Looks like those 2 boys you just mentioned, Mick, they might be working together off the front. So the Scotch boys making the decisive moves here.
APS 1, 2, 3, 4 with old Severians thrown in the mix there as well.
That was a pretty decisive move just before the bell here. Looks like it's going to pay off.
Yeah, Munro, really smart race. He sort of settled in. He wasn't in front until, what, about 1.5 to 2 laps into this race. Just sort of sat in the top few, waited, and now is absolutely charging home in this last lap.
Yeah, he's really kicked it down here, hasn't he? That is an outstanding win. He's run right through the finish line, no sign of fatigue.
4:17, massive PB there for Munro. And for the rest of this field as well, coming in at 4:22. Bucko, Matthew Goff and Murray Lovas, Chris Winter and Michael Johnson just to round out that field of 10.
That was an outstanding move.
And
With
PBs
400 metres to go.
PBs for the first 5 athletes there as well, I reckon, Lachie.
So it's a good sign for the things to come. Conditions must be all right out there. So take a look out the window. A bit of a breeze. The trees are moving a bit, but it's not worrying the athletes so far.
They're fluttering, I reckon.
Hopefully it's dying down.
That's right. Wouldn't call it wind. It's, I reckon it'd be pretty nice conditions. Although sometimes it's easy to say that when you're just watching from a commentary box. And then you speak to a couple of the athletes and they say, nah, that back straight was messed up.
No wind up in the luxury of this commentary box.
Luxury here at Duncan McKinnon Reserve in Caulfield.
No excuses from Mick or I.
And we'll be having a bit of a break before we move on to session 3 for the evening. Only about 10 or 15 minutes. But as we mentioned, we do have 22 races broken into 5 different sessions just to allow flow of people in and out of the venue due to COVID guidelines at the moment. So it is great to see racing here again and see Vic Milers back, although a month or so later than usual. But it's look where we were 3 months ago and couldn't leave our house. For 1 hour of training, that was about it. And we're here here again in December, just before Christmas, watching some awesome racing again, just like nothing's changed from last year.
Yeah, I reckon there are a few private Strava accounts during the most severe lockdown in Melbourne. But it does look like the Victorian Milers Club have had a great setup here. You can see the fenced off section in the middle of the track. It's been operating beautifully so far. No problems from the athletes, so it's a real credit to the team who have got this up. And it's great to have racing back.
On your marks.
And we're back for session 3 of the night. So as we said, due to COVID restrictions and guidelines, milers can go ahead tonight, which is unreal, but it is broken. The timetable is a bit broken up into these sessions where there's 50 athletes per session, 10 per race. We've got 22 races for the night, but 5 blocks. So men's F race with hip number 1 is Harvey Anderson, number 2 Clary McIntyre, hip number 3 Kai Gilliam, number 4 Lachlan Minara, number 5 Nicholas Martin, number 6 Charlie Kybird, number 7 Xavier Mead, number 8 Brody Thumb, Nicholas Hersham is in number 9 and Brad Hall in number 10, or hip number 10 should I say.
Yeah, it was a bit of a messy start, Mick, the chopping and changing of the lead, but it looks like Lachlan Minara has assumed responsibilities as the pilot as he takes them through in 67 high, maybe 68. So head down the back straight. It's followed by the Knox athlete.
A few familiar names in this pack as well as we start to get into the higher ranked events of the evening. So men's F, there's still a few to go, but there has been about 7 or 8 men's 1500 races already gone through.
It's shaping up as a good race, this one. They're real tightly packed, single file, so you know the pace is on. Starting to stretch these boys, but they're still a nice tight pack.
So Lachlan Minara followed by, there's 3 Knox boys. I know Bradley Hall is the one.
Looks like Nick Martin in second.
Nick Martin and Bradley Hall, also from Athletics Essendon, Brody Thrum. But there's such a tight pack there. Out the front, it could be anyone who takes out this race, as we've got about 2 laps to go. So 4 minutes 20 is the seed time. A lot of them will be chasing.
That's what you like to see about Milers Club. All seeded races. Get a real opportunity to run fast and practice your racing. As you see a move being made down the back, one of the Knox boys.
And there's Brad Hall who moves into that first position there as the pack just starts to break up behind Brody Thrum of Essendon. So it's a race of 4 out the front. But as soon as I say that, the other athlete from Knox,
it's Nicholas Martin, maybe.
Nicholas Martin is coming up on the tail of Brody Thrum.
It looked like Lachlan Minara might have almost run into the back of the Knox athlete there, but they've sorted themselves out again.
And we don't like to put a line through people too early in the race as well, so we'll mention Charlie Kybird from Mornington Peninsula, who is off the back there as well. 1 lap to go. Harvey Anderson is getting onto the tail of Brody Thrum from Essendon. It's still a race of anyone's up the front. We've got about 7 or 8 athletes there charging towards the finish line with 300 metres to go.
So this one could get messy. They're still pretty tightly packed. Hopefully we see some moves on this top bend. That's what you like to see, but Knox athletes prominent. Lachlan Minara's still there. Might be Harvey Anderson working his way through, the independent runner in the white singlet there.
Brad Hall is the Knox athlete who has burst away from the pack there. He was leading early on, settled back into the pack, and now has got himself a nice, comfortable lead of about 10-15 metres. The independent athlete in Harvey Anderson is charging towards the front of that second pack, or the front pack, should I say, and they're all chasing Brad Hall. So 4 minutes 20 is the seed time of most of these athletes in this race, and they will go under that, the first few of them anyway, in 4:12, 4:13, 4:14.
Good finish from Brody Thrum there. Thought Harvey Anderson might have gone straight past him, but he punched up, rounded out a good race.
So that would be the first 7 athletes in that race, PBs.
That's what we like to see.
On your marks.
So a clean start here from the boys in the men's E 1500 metres. So we start to make our way to some of the quicker races of the night. This will be a nice little taste tester of what's to come. So we run through the field quickly. From station 1, it's Tyler Hadfield. 2, Tom Morris. 3, Liam Morgan. 4, Mark Stodden. 5, Fred Leighton. 6, Robert Barber. 7, Jordan Abbott. 8, Alexander Howard. And 9, Toby Griffith. And it looks like the early lead, just as his brother did, is Fred Leighton, following the footsteps of his brother. He's got his old Scotch teammate there. Might be Robert Barber. So nice and strung out early here. It looks like Fred Leighton's done a great job setting the pace, making sure it's quick. He'll look over his shoulder, see how he's shaken so far, but it's a pretty quick first lap. The pace is on here. Seed time's about 4:13, which is 68 seconds lap, and they're already halfway down the back straight at 68 seconds. So these boys are confident in their ability, confident in their training, and we'll see how this one unfolds. The group of 3 out in front. The Western Athletics runner, Liam Morgan, bridging the gap between the two groups. But you think there'd be a lot more to unfold in this one over the last couple of laps. Looks like Mark Stodden as well, just making his way to the front of that second group. He's a regular at these Milers meets and he's had some great races. I reckon there was one a couple of years ago where he had a fantastic photo finish at Lakeside Stadium. So don't write him off. He's been around long enough to mow down that front group, knows what he's doing on the track. Nice compact field here, rounded out by Jordan Abbott. Through 2 laps there, about 2:12. Well and truly on pace here. So it's Leighton still in front. I reckon his brother was in an almost identical position in his race. Let's see how he goes over the final lap. The Western runner, Liam Morgan, looking really good moving into second place. Look out for him over the final lap. We've got a Box Hill athlete in third. Might be Toby Griffith, the independent runner. As you see, these runners start to make a move, jostling for position.
So Tom Morris in 5th position is in the mix as well. But it is Leighton. He's led from the start. He's going to charge towards the finish line with a gap of 4 or 5 metres at the moment ahead of Morgan. But the rest of the field is coming and they're coming strong. Will Leighton hang on over these final 250 metres?
I like the look of the field of these boys in 3rd and 4th, just moving their way through. Yeah. Toby Griffith and the old Scotch teammate, Robert Barber. Leighton, gee, we like to see the front runners win, but it looks like these boys he's found something though, and there's a great move coming here.
That's Alex Howard of Ballarat, YCW. Tom Morris as well, charging from 4th position.
It's a great
Morris,
finish this.
Howard, Griffith and Leighton.
So Griffith on the inside. Leighton's not done with yet. Gee, this would be a great win if he can get him. And Howard on the outside, but it looks like Griffith. Fantastic win. Leighton, he found a second win there, didn't he, Mick?
That's it. As we said, it's interesting to see how these races unfold from the people who are hidden in the pack early, but also how the front runners hang on as the race progresses. And yeah, gutsy run from Leighton and some pretty fancy shoes on his feet as well.
Just regulation these days. Good endorsement for Nike, this on the screen right now.
Howard not even wearing spikes as we
might have been the difference.
Athlete. Yeah, exactly.
He made a fantastic move over that last 200 metres, and I thought he was about 3 wide, and I thought he might just get him. But Griffith proved too strong.
field of 10 for the women's B, 1500 on the line. And from Doncaster, Rachel White, on silver in March, and St Evans, Leo Richardson. From Frankston, David Armstrong, St Evans, riding well. From the Williamstown, Natasha Wall. From Oxhill, Tony Woodside, from Williamstown, the Goldsmith. Also from Williamstown, the Nathan Rayner, and Tom Sandringham, Matilda, Lachlan.
Okay, here we go.
On your marks.
So we've got women's B on the line right now. Doesn't get much better than this. Well, until we get to women's A, that is, time-wise.
Still a quality race, this.
The seeds are pretty high in this race, 445 to 458, so they will be somewhat bunched. Let's see how this unfolds. Will we get a front runner again, as we have in it? Well, most of the races tonight, there has been someone attacked from the start, but I don't know, maybe this being a higher seeded race, everyone's sort of got their head switched on. This seems like championship racing so far, with Abby Goldsworthy leading the way. And haven't even read out the competitors. Let's go, let's do that. So Rachel White with hip 1 from Doncaster, Ruby Ma, hip 2 from Box Hill, hip 3 Cleo Richardson from St Kevin's, hip 4 Katie Egan from Frankston, hip 5 Bridie Hill from St Kevin's, hip 6 Natasha Rourke from Williamstown, hip 7 Sophie Westcott from Box Hill. Abby Goldsworthy is in 8 from Williamstown. Nicer Males from Williamstown is 9, and to round out the field, hip 10 Matilda Strugnall.
Yeah, and they're nice and tightly packed here, and just early as they came onto the home straight, White and Richardson just bumped into each other, and they were near the back of the field, and it's just lit White alight. She has moved up and she's just near the front. That can happen sometimes. You get a little knock in a race and you start to panic, but it looks like she's nice and relaxed now.
So most of the athletes in this race are high school age and would be quite used to championship racing. There's not many older athletes in here to sort of throw a spanner in the works. A lot of these girls actually would race each other regularly and know how each other race, what their abilities are. Although maybe sometimes a bit hard to see coming off a pre-season. Or off a non-season, should I say, of cross-country. A season missed.
Big black line through cross-country in Victoria this year. We might see some cross-country kind of action soon if these girls stay this tightly packed when the pace starts to get poured on.
That's it. So Westcott, Sophie Westcott of Box Hill crossing the line there. Abby Goldsworthy of Williamstown, closely followed by Nicer Males from Williamstown also.
It looks like Rachel White of Doncaster. She's running the 400 in lane 3, making her way around.
That's it. She's settling back into the inside lane now. Not such a silly move as she does settle into that pack. Katie Egan from Frankston making her way around the shoulder of the St Kevin's athlete in 3rd position. So they do start to string out with a bit less, well, about 600 metres to go, 1.5 laps to go, as it is Sophie Westcott, followed by Katie Egan. And I'm going to say that's Bridie Hill, although there are a few St Kevin's athletes in this race.
So we'll get a look at them as they come around through the home straight. So just this time last lap, they were a nice tight pack, and now they have been absolutely shattered. They're spread all over the track. It's all been thanks to a decisive move from Sophie Westcott.
That is Bridie Hill in 3rd position then. So Katie Egan on the shoulder of Westcott as they have 1 lap to go. So it's Egan, Westcott, Bridie Hill. 4th position at the moment is hip number 3, Cleo Richardson, and then the rest of the field all pretty tightly bunched. Ruby Ma, Rachel White are in there.
I think this could be a good duel over this last lap. We did see Egan go past Westcott, but Westcott's a classy runner. See if she can latch on the back of her there, but Egan is looking the goods down the back straight, isn't she?
She is, and she's striding out. She's been a runner for Frankston Athletics Club for a number of years, and we've sort of said there's been a few battles of maturity in some of these races. So it's sort of more race experience as well. She's waited, she knows her ability, and now she's made a big move with about a lap to go and is increasing that lead above Sophie Westcott in 2nd position. So as we hear Tim Crosby commentating across the track, the next few positions are Hill, Strugnall and Rourke. Egan, quick look over the shoulder to see where Westcott is. She doesn't need to worry too much though, because she does have a fair gap as she makes her way towards the finish line. 4:47, 4:48, just over her seed time entered. Actually, no, it's just under her seed time entered. So very strong run from Egan, Westcott, Hill.
Strugnall look like in 5th place.
Strugnall, Rourke, Males, Marr and White. And to round out the field is Males from Williamstown in the flashy pink socks. A bit of excitement for that one. A few changes of lead. A few people going out strong towards the end. We thought it was going to be a bit of a pack race and a sprint finish, but the sprinting started early.
Once the pace went on, it sorted them out. Single file is what we like to see at Milers Club. It's when you know the pace is on. That's what most people come here to do, is to run a fast time and run a PB.
Yeah, he was probably the tightest pack first lap that we have seen of the evening. But then someone taking it out and getting a fair gap for the finish wasn't uncommon of the night. And the races keep getting faster and faster. We have men's D race coming up next.
So for the last race of the third session, we've got a pretty exciting one here, the men's D 1500 metres. As we saw in the last race from the girls, we're starting to edge our way close to some of the faster athletes for the night. And this one looks an enticing battle on paper. We'll see how they go. So as we work through the field here, from station 1, Alexander Gibson, 2, Xavier Johnson, 3, Joshua McLeod, 4, Michael Kernahan, 5, Isaac Bibelet, 6, Ruben Howard, 7, Jack Fora, 8, Matthew Venor, 9, Chris Rancy, and 10, Scott Benedict. And it looks like Xavier Johnson out in front with Josh McLeod and Isaac Bibelet working his way around the front. Isaac Bibelet's got himself a YouTube channel. I think he's got over 800 subscribers now, so maybe he's just heading to the front and making sure he's got some good footage for his channel.
That's it. Hit him up. Make sure he gets to 900 before
That's
Christmas.
I think he's working his way. And here goes Kernahan, sporting one of the better singlet tans you'll see. And I did say to Mick just off air before that any race you're in, if Kernahan's there, you don't have to worry about the pace. This man has one gear, and it is fast. And he will not want this to be a kick-down finish. He's going to want to string him out early. Looks like his training partner, Xavier Johnson, there, tucked in nicely. But Kernahan, he does not wait for anyone. He takes him through there in about 66.
And a few serious boys in this race as well, with 3 or 4 of the athletes sporting the half tights. bit of a fashion choice of the past, probably 2020, I'd say. Maybe last track season, they just started to come in a little bit more. Definitely this European season, we saw a lot of the top runners wearing those half tights as opposed to the splitties.
That's right, Mick. And if you've ever had a Strava segment taken off you by a mysterious man called Michael Kernahan with no profile picture, this is him. And he might just be looking to take out this race. He's got Xavier Johnson behind him. Then he's got Fora, Bibelet, McLeod, Howard and Gibson, sorry. But Kernahan is powering on. These two out in front, Kernahan and Johnson, they train together. And I'd say that Johnson probably has the better kick down finish, and he's just sitting behind Kernahan. He's doing him no favours here. But as we see, Kernahan, he just likes to go out hard and take it from the gun. Makes it an honest race every time. You won't see many tactical races with this man in it. But Johnson moving smoothly behind him. Then Fora. Looks like Howard moving up with Fora, the two Glen Huntley boys. McLeod's still there. Bibelet, I think he ran a PB over 3,000 metres just last week. Sub-9 for the first time. And Gibson just hanging off the back of Bibelet. And that looks like it's all the action for the moment from these boys. Howard looks to get in front of Kernahan. Kernahan's going to get some help for the first time in this race. Let's see how he goes. I wouldn't expect Kernahan to speed up too much over the last lap. It'll just be more of the same. He's a fighter. He works hard. But these boys starting to bunch up. It looks like Howard taking it through the bell, and Johnson, he's been in fantastic form lately. I think he ran about 8:46, 8:47 for 3,000 metres last week. He's in form. And these boys at the front start to really pick apart this field. Looks like the other Glen Huntley runner, Jack Fora, is still there. Kernahan, not out of it yet. And Bibelet, the man. See how he can go for his YouTube channel. I reckon he's got a few subscribers on the line here if he can start to wind this up. But Johnson's out in front, and he's taking care of Howard so far. Fora, he's a pretty strong runner over 800 metres. See how his kick down finishes. Kernahan, still there. They can't shake him. But it's Johnson out in front. And Bibelet, he's in 5th place, fighting on. See how these boys go in PB territory. But Jack Fora, as I said, he's a good 800 metre runner. He's got a good kick. Johnson won't go away. Neither will Kernahan. And Howard's still there on the inside. Looks like Johnson and Fora are the two main prospects, but Kernahan putting his head down. His afro might help him on the line in the photo finish. Here he comes, dip the head, Kernahan. He can't get Johnson. That's a fantastic run from those two boys, both coached by Sean Williams out at Melbourne Pack. They'll be laughing about that one on their long run on Sunday. That was a fantastic race. Looked like the Glen Huntley boys, 3rd, 4th.
Best part of that race for me was the number 1 and 2, the boys from Mentone, stopping their watch as they cross the finish line.
That's right. Hey, there might be a CR up for grabs. You never know what can happen. Gee, that was a great finish from Kernahan. I must say I didn't expect him to find too much once he got past, but he fought hard. And I thought he might have just got Johnson there, but Johnson, too strong. Just finishing year 12. Be a great feeling, wouldn't it, Mick, wrapping up year 12 and looking forward to the summer of athletics.
And that concludes session 3 of the evening. 2 sessions to go, and it is all A, B and C races to come. We have a few 800s just to change pace, so they are the A and B men's and women's 800s in the next block starting at 8:20 p.m. So hang around or tune back in at 8:20 for some 800 metre racing for about 20 minutes. And then the last 20 minutes of the evening will be 4 1,500 metre races, including the men's and women's A races.
Better off standing on the other side of the track. Testing 1, 2, 3.
the 800. Yeah, I think it'll be the A grade 800. Darcy pounds here. Well, I don't know where it's ranked. Ron Tim's the fastest man in the world. Jeff Risley. No, look, Darcy is
Moving to the 800 meters. And we welcome on to Miles up back, Mr. Jeffrey Risley. And some big moves. That Miles up back in 2006. Right, so box to one over on that meeting. Still sporting on the top. And in this 800, you'll certainly have some good opposition. With Rayner lining up. We'll have a pacemaker too, on some power. Decided to hold his Huntley there out, and hopefully Mr. Risley as well. And not stuck it up. And
you don't have to lead tonight. Sit back and do nothing for a while. And see what happens. Guys, Lachlan for Helen, we pacing about 53 first lap. Sit into the ride, boys.
let's introduce our girl, the 800 metres. Station 1 from Calen Goldsmith, Station 2 from Athletics Easton and Hayden Roberts, Station 3 Mornington and Nathan Rayner. Station 4 from Rosstron, Darcy Pound, Station 5 from Knox and Jeff Risley, Station 6 from Glen Huntley, Luke Rayner, Station 7 from Independent Runner, India's Ryan Wilson, Station 8 from Knox and Smith Score, Station 9 from Eureka.
And we are back, session 4 of the evening here at Duncan McKinnon Athletics Track in Caulfield. We have 9 competitors in this men's A 800 metres in lane 1 from St Kevin's, Will Lindsay. Lane 2, Aidan Roberts from Essendon. Lane 3, Nathan Corbett from Mornington Peninsula. Lane 4, Darcy Pound from Box Hill. Lane 5, Olympian Jeff Risley from Knox.
On your mark.
Lane 6, Luke Major from Glen Huntley. Lane 7, Brian Wilson, Independent. Lane 8, Spencer Storen from Knox. And lane 9, Luke Padgham from Eureka.
Nice work, Mick, and it'll be interesting to see how this one pans out. Looks like Glen Huntley out there on the outside.
Will Lindsay from St Kevin's making a charge from the inside as well.
That's right. Will Lindsay, I think he did an 800 time trial the other week. Just recently moved to Rising Track Club, Steve Fabrice.
So it would be Major leading the field around. And Brian Wilson. Oh, it could be we have maybe a pacemaker leading the way around without a hip number.
That'll have to be the case.
Got a bit confused there with the double Glen Huntley singlet. Darcy Pound on the shoulder of...
Pound always races aggressively. We see it every time at Milers Club. He lays it on the line.
Risley just sitting pretty there in 4th position, right behind Luke Major. So Darcy Pound is really taking it to around that. Is that a pacemaker who's up the front of the field?
Well, he's going hard.
Leading Darcy Pound.
He's doing a hell of a job if he is. Gee, Risley looks smooth, doesn't he?
Is that a run through for Risley up the back just as he gets on Pound's heels? He's just waiting to, and we see the pacemaker step off the track. So Pound followed by Risley. Pound's legs are moving so quickly, but Risley's moving so smoothly. Followed by Luke Major in 3rd position and Brian Wilson, Independent, in 4th.
Cream rising to the top here with Risley. Goes over the top of Pound. You've got to respect that run from Pound, but Risley just far too good. Opens it up. Probably 152.
So major pound.
Pretty compact field there coming through.
Risley just all class in that one. He, starting to pack pretty early on, but it was kind of always going to be his race. He proved in the last couple of 100 metres he just charged towards the finish line, finishing 152, which is far from his best, but season opener in a strange year that 2020 has been. A really strong run by Darcy Pound, who did a lot of the work as well behind the pacemaker there. Okay, next on the track will be the women's A, 800 metres. It'll be 1 minute. I see the girls making their way from the centre of the field there, from this from our warm-up area, walking over to the start line. And we do have a few big names in this field as well.
I reckon this one will be a real good race. Headlined by Abby Caldwell and Claudia Hollingsworth, two faster seeds in this one, but plenty of quality right throughout the field. This chick women's own.
From the men's 800 move to the women's 800 with 9 starters. Collingwood to Queensland with Cinderella. Ashley Palmer from 800 and Caldwell on Punster, Claudia Harley from 100. Cambringham this area from Home, Essendon. Sarah Hamlin from 100. Curly Turner from Washington and Newcastle. 9 women field in the women's A.
Okay, and the field in the women's A, 800 metres, we have Karima Wakim from Collingwood in lane 1, then followed by Lucinda Rourke, Williamstown, Ashley Palmer, Glenn Huntley, Claudia Hollingsworth, Mentone, Abby Caldwell, Doncaster, Claudia Carter, Glenn Huntley, Mia Skerry, Sandringham, Caroline Higham from Essendon, Sophia Hanlon from Glen Huntley, and Kiralee Turver from Mornington Peninsula as Claudia Hollingsworth nears the bend in first position, just on the inside of...
It's Abby Caldwell out there.
Abby Caldwell, so that's your 1-2 Abby Caldwell leading the way, Claudia Hollingsworth in second position, and then a gap to the rest of the field led by Claudia Carter from Glen Huntley.
That's right, and as I said pre-race, this looks like an enticing duel between these two. Caldwell, she had her flight booked to Kenya for the World Juniors. Last time she stepped off the track, she was probably ready to prepare for that, but that ticket was ripped up and she'll be looking to rip up this field. She's up there with Hollingsworth. They've cleared out, racing aggressively. It's what you like to see off such a long way off.
And going through the first lap in a tick over 1 minute flat. It's going to be quick, these two girls, if the pace stays this way. Claudia Carter, Lucinda Rourke.
Looks like Caldwell really starting to stretch Hollingsworth here, but I suspect Hollingsworth will be under some strict instructions from our coach Craig Mottram. She'll have a plan, but Caldwell looking the goods down the back straight.
Two very smooth movers working on the back straight there.
That's right, Mick. This is a serious display of running right now. Some genuine class here at Milers Club, and as I said, Hollingsworth not done with yet. She'd have a plan, and it looks like she's executing it right now. Caldwell, can she respond? We know she's strong over the longer distances, but Hollingsworth looking smooth over the top bend. We'll see if Caldwell can respond right now. Into the home straight, these two have well and truly cleared out. Looks like Rourke's moved their way into third place ahead of Carter, but Hollingsworth, gee, she's a real talent, isn't she? That's a convincing win over a classy runner in Caldwell.
Impressive time as well, 2:05.
2:05. Caldwell about 2:08. And as I said, Rourke moved their way into third place.
Sophia Hanlon, Claudia Carter, Caroline Higham, Ashley Palmer, Kiralee Turver, Karima Wakim, and Mia Scary to round out the women's A 800 metres.
That last women's A 800 metres, 5 low. So these boys will be looking to go well under the 2-minute mark, I'd have to suspect. Classy runners in here. As the sun starts to set here at Duncan McKinnon. It's been a nice night so far.
Plenty of home track runners from Glen Huntly Club in that pale blue singlet. There always is in distance races. Box Hill, Glen Huntly tend to be, or have quite a number of athletes in distance running.
A couple of powerhouse
On your
clubs.
marks.
So take off here for the men's 800 metre B race. See how this starts to unfold. Looks like we've had a few late scratchings. 9 on the start list and only 6 in the race. So they sort themselves out after the crossing. Looks like Tom Hatton. Sorry, James Hatton that is. Working his way into the lead at the 200 metres. Smooth mover he is. Looks nice and relaxed.
And Joshua Tram in second position there, right up on the shoulder of, is it Noah Wright of Glen Huntly? Yarra Rangers athlete, actually, that's the James Hatton. Yarra Rangers athlete in Noah Wright is in third position. Will Caddick is in the mix as well from Doncaster. So Hatton, Tram and Katic are your top 3.
Looks like Tram's making a move here. Hatton had led most of the way, but Tram looks to be laying down the law right now. That move is full of authority as he moves under the top bend. We'll see if Hatton's not done with yet. See if he can start to wind this up. But Tram starting to tighten up a little bit. Hatton is going to get back on it. He might go right over the top of him here. That's smart racing from Hatton. We'll see how they go in the home straight. Tram on the inside, Hatton on the outside. Both these boys worked pretty hard. It's going to be a great finish. Hatton in front, and it looks like Hatton's going to take the chocolatier ahead of Cham. Looks like Wright come through in third placing. As we see Jazz Diol down there with his camera, does a great job every Milers meet. Since I've been around at least, taking some great photos. All athletes love photos. Got to get some on the Instagram. Don't worry about the time. Just worry about going to the front and getting a good flick.
Not even every miles meet. I think it's every athletics meet, cross-country meet, full stopper at the moment.
That's it. He's been sitting at home all winter with his camera, I reckon, with all the lockdowns, waiting to get out here. It's great to see people like that in our sport, making the experience a lot more enjoyable for all the athletes.
So women's B 800, the athletes in this field are Gracie Lee Egner from Ballarat. Lane 2 is Jamison Battistella from Melbourne Uni. Lane 3, Abigail Thomas from Western Athletics. Lane 4, Sunay Backer from Doncaster. Lane 5, Hannah Williams, also from Doncaster. Lane 6, Declan Tanner of Mornington Peninsula. Lane 7, Ruby Crisp of Ringwood. Lane 8, Kyla Swallow of Mornington Peninsula. And to round out the field, Olivia DaCosta Alves, Independent.
Fastest seed time here is Hannah Williams in hit number 5. So we'll see how she goes.
And it looks to be, Hannah Williams, Sunay Backer of Doncaster charging towards the front. Also on the inside from, I was about to say Ballarat, but that might not be quite right. One of the Ballarat athletes in Gracie Lee Egner is right up the front of the field as well, followed by Declan Tanner of Mornington Peninsula. Jamison Battistella in the mix, as is Abigail Thomas of Western Athletics.
We've seen this a lot tonight, haven't we? Two teammates, two athletes from the same club going to the front together.
It's a comfortable way to race with your training partners, if they are training partners, of course.
I suspect this one might feel like pinch a bit more than a training session as they enter this last lap. They've gone through in 109, 110. You see the Mornington Peninsula athlete there.
Declan Tanner just up on the shoulder of the Doncaster girls. Class runner, still pretty young in her athletics career, but she is quite talented, and we'll see what she can do over the last 300 metres as she makes her way into the lead.
Yeah, that looked like a great move. She took 100 metres to do it, but it just looked convincing the whole way. She just slowly edged her way, and now she's winding it up and applying the clamps.
Abigail Thomas in 4th position at the moment. The girl from Western Athletics is getting up on the heels of Sunay Backer from Doncaster, and she moves her way into 3rd position, but Tanner extends her lead on the field over the last 150 metres to go. Abigail Thomas from Western Athletics making a fast last move as well. Keep an eye on her and Tanner as they go towards the finish line. Hannah Williams from Doncaster not going to let them get away with it too easily as she throws everything at it in the final stages. It's a race of 3 here. Williams, Abigail Thomas, Tanner, Williams, followed by Thomas, Tanner, Backer, Gracie Lee Egner, Ruby Crisp, Jamison Battistella, and Swallow to round out the field. What a finish.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have picked that. I liked the move of Tanner going down the back straight. But as we've seen tonight, there's been a lot of athletes just flooding from the back, never saying die.
And Williams, she was leading early on along with her teammate and sort of slipped back just a little bit. Quite often when we've seen that tonight, they've kind of been done for the race, but she made her way back, fought back, found a little bit of extra something in the last 100 metres. Pretty impressive.
Fantastic racing, that. Supreme confidence in her ability. She was the fastest seed time and she got the job done.
So we will have a bit of a break now before the final races of the evening. Don't go anywhere. Well, you can go somewhere for maybe 10 minutes, make a tea or something like that. A bit of dessert. What time is it? 8:30. We'll be back at 8:50 for the men's C race, B race, A race, and the women's A race, 1,500 metres. So 20 more minutes. 25 minutes of racing, shall we say, coming up in about 10 minutes' time. So don't go too far. We'll see you back soon.
I got comfortable in the first lap, and it was around the first 162.
Anyone cleaning? Might be up. But I think
Not take it. So it's like maybe
fell down.
apparently. According to Tim. Yeah, yes.
Give your wife.
Just to the left of the side.
Next, so it's on track. Men's C, 1500 metres. We have a field on 10 from John Hill, Nathan Grills from Frankston, Tony Morrell, Diamond Valley, Dean Waterton, Athletics Essendon, Michael Rayner,
And the final session of this evening, and it is heating right up. We have 4 stellar 1500 metres to come, a women's A race and a men's A, B and C race. Kicking off things with the men's C in lane 1, we have Ethan Grills of Geelong. Lane 2, Bailey Morrell of Frankston. Lane 3, Dean Neofatu of Diamond Valley. Lane 4, the man behind Athletics exclusive live streams, Lachlan Rayner, has taken a break from behind the computer to get on the track tonight. Lane 5, Alexander Angus from Old Melburnians. Lane 6, Luke Sin of Doncaster. Lane 7, Patrick Matthews of Keyless and Bernards. Lane 8, Caleb Sin of Doncaster. Lane 9, Benjamin Baisha of Old Scosh. And lane 10, to round out the field, Zach Norton of Geelong Guild.
It'll be an exciting race, this one, Mick. We've got Alexander Angus, the 15-year-old, turned 15 just the other day, but he ran a time trial the other week and ran 3:59. He's the only man in this field to break 4 minutes, but the rest of the field, the other 9 men, have all run between 4 flat and 4:04, and a lot of those boys are in the range of 4 flat to 4:02. So it's that elusive sub-4 minute barrier, and I would suspect they're all going to be charging for it, and a few of them might just get it. After time trialling all year, the race environment, you find an extra gear.
That's it, 64-second laps we would be looking for. So we'll see how they go through in this first one. We know that some athletes with a bit of experience might sort of race a little bit differently. And they go through about 67, 68 through that first lap, which isn't the time they want to break 4 minutes, but a race to kick off the season. Let's see what happens.
There'll be some fireworks late if they keep this kind of pace up. We know they're all capable of running close to that 4 minute mark. And it's some way or other you just have to think they're going to get there. But you want to see them wind it up soon.
So Caleb Sin is leading the way at the moment, followed by Alexander Angus, as we mentioned earlier. Dean Neofatu of Diamond Valley in 3rd position. Ben Baisha on the inside as well from Old Scotch in the red singlet, and a couple of the boys from Geelong Guild right in the pack. Well, everyone's still there because the pack is so thick right now. Alexander Angus of Old Melburnians does hit lead. Patrick Matthews sitting in 3rd position, now 4th position, just been taken by the athlete from Geelong Guild in Ethan Grills.
And Bailey Morales just made a nice casual move, worked his way through, wasn't in a hurry, and he's just working his way into 3rd spot right now. He's a man who's been in some serious form. He's run some really impressive times over a couple of distances in time trials, namely, I think a 5:28 2 kilometres. So look out for him. But Alexander Angus, the one I earmarked earlier, he had a big kick in the time trial that I watched, and I would suspect he might just have one here, especially off this slower pace than anticipated. But a good group out in front here.
And just have to reconfirm that that is as the hip numbers come across. That'll be Zach Norton out the front of the field. So Zach Norton of Geelong Guild, Alexander Angus, Bailey Morrell, Patrick Matthews charging his way back into 4th position, taking over Caleb Sin. Dean Neoffitu is right in the mix as well. He's been running 800s and 1500s for years, and he's not going to let them get away with it too easily.
But wait to see who makes the first move here. I'm sure there'll be plenty of fireworks. All of these boys are capable of running a lot faster than this, but it looks like they're just biding their time. Looks like Norton out in front starting to feel the burn of this race. Morale, I like the look of Morale. He looks like he's got full of running. And Angus is still there. Neoffitu as well. As Mick mentioned before, just a classy runner. He's been around a while. Coming around the top bend. Angus, here's the kick we expected. He's starting to throw down the challenge. He's shaking most of them. Neoffitu still there. Morale hanging off their back. Angus, he's a real tough runner, this bloke. He'll punch up the inside. Neoffitu grits his teeth. I don't think he's going to get there. Angus, it's a strong run, just outside the mark, 4-minute mark. But it's a good run, and it's a good race, more importantly. Neoffitu in second, Morale in third. Looks like Norton might have got third ahead of Sin. And then the other Sin and Matthews before Baisha. And our man Rayner.
Held the lead for quite a long time, fell on the borders.
Number 20 on the starting line, as meant the 1500 metres, late line starters. Frankston, Lachlan,
Jason Clayton tonight's scratch. So we're on the track here for the men's B, 1500 metres. It's a classy field, this one. A lot of young guns. I think just about every athlete between the age of probably 16 and 21. From lane 1, we've got Lachlan, 2, Ed Marks, 3, Nick Fiddler, 4, Douglas Buckeridge, 5, Yan Chow Lee, 6, Calen Goldsmith, 7, Jason Clayton, who's a late scratching,
On your
8,
mark.
Thomas Diamonds, 9, Will Collins, and 10, William Garbelotto. So 9 starters here after Clayton unfortunately won't be racing tonight. He would have been a great addition to the field, but these boys are going to take care of business. And let's see how this one unfolds. Looks like Marks out in front ahead of Garbelotto, Buckeridge. We know Marks is a strong runner, real strong over the longer distances, so obviously confident in his ability here. And Garbelotto, he's got one of the slower seed times in the field, but they're also tightly packed, it doesn't matter. He's had a great year so far, real consistent, no injuries. As you can see him there sporting the chain. He'll just look to stay nice and relaxed. There's Calen Goldsmith moving up on the outside. Buckridge on the inside. Might be Fiddler there.
Chow Louis sitting in 5th or 6th position there of Old Scotch. You never discount Chow.
Fantastic runner, Chow. I remember in my early AGS days, Chow used to run for Trinity and he'd win the junior race by a couple of minutes at least. And the races were only 2 or 3K. He's been a real talent for a long time and it's great to see him moving well again. But as we mentioned earlier, it's Marks out in front. That's that real casual style. Calen Goldsmith and Garbalotto there. Buckridge, he's a seriously strong racer. And he's got a big kick and he's aggressive. And they're the races we like to see. Not a big move for him there, but just shuffles himself around. But these boys all still intact as we look towards the back. We've still got Collins, Eno. It looks like it might be Fiddler. Sorry, not Fiddler. That's Tom Diamond at the back there. They're all still intact. I'd really expect to see the screws start to get tightened soon. Marks has done a great job out in front dictating terms. Buckridge is still there. Calen Goldsmith. There's Fiddler. Chow Lee. Eno. He's a good runner in his own right. And Garbalotto, Collins and Diamond. And it looks like this little injection of pace is starting to stretch a few of these runners, but they're all still there. And as we enter the business end of this race, looks like Yan Chow Lee really starting to make an impression on this race. Ed Marks in second. He won't go away. You can count on that. Fiddler still there. Buckridge on the inside. Eno on the outside of Garbalotto. And you see Eno's Mornington Peninsula teammate, Calen Goldsmith, with Collins on the inside and Tom Diamond just hanging off the back. But I'll tell you what, this is going to be a great finish. Plenty of fireworks as they come through the bell. 254, 255. As now we can really expect to start to see these boys unwind. Eno, he's feeling good. He's out in lane 2 and he's throwing down the challenge. Chow Lee's looking comfortable in front. Marks is still there after a bit of work early. Buckridge also still there. Fiddler, Garbalotto biding their time. And looks like that pack might split into 2 here. And it looks like Eno, as I mentioned earlier, moving out to lane 2. He's looking full of running, but Chow Lee punching up on the inside. As I said, Marks won't go away. Fiddler. Buckridge weaving through. He found a gap where there wasn't one. Gee, that was fantastic. Chow Lee still there. Eno, he's had a long and sustained run. I wonder if it's peaked. But Buckridge is winding it up, and Chow Lee, he's just kind of flown under the radar here on the inside. He's kept off all challenges so far. Eno, he's finding a gear. Buckridge also starting to wind it up. Let's see who can get it here. Looks like Buckridge has gone over the top. Buckridge ahead of Eno, Chow Lee, Fiddler, Barks, Garbalotto. Diamond a good run. Goldsmith and Will Collins rounds out the field, all under 4 minutes. That's the best race of the night so far. Fantastic racing from those boys. Really like the move from Buckridge at 200. Not quite sure how he fit through that gap, but he did. Be a good driver if he's got a car.
That was probably one of the most dense packs for the longest time in the 1500s that we've had tonight. And once again, those fancy white shoes with the colourful tick.
That's right. I really like that run from Lachie Eno as well. He was in lane 2 with a lap to go, and he really charged down the back. Looked like he'd peaked, and he found a second wind. But Buckridge just too strong in the home straight. But that's fantastic to see. As I mentioned earlier, all those boys really young, up-and-coming distance runners, and it's great to see them all squeeze under 4 minutes. It's easy to discount those blokes at the back of the field, but any time you run under 4 minutes for 1500 at that age is a serious run. So hats off to those boys. They'll put the feet up. That's a great start to their season.
Getting towards the line, those girls.
Yeah, changed right on the
Official winning time, Douglas Hungary, 3:53.33.
Okay, and the women's A race. 2 races to go of the evening here at the first Milers Club in a strange 2020 year. So we have in lane 1, Sophie Coltich of Geelong Guild, Kelsey Vickery, Mentone, Sophie Coughlin of Sandringham, Megan Dixon of Deakin, Bridget Humphrey also of Deakin, Emma Hogan of Glen Huntly, Gigi McEnany of South Melbourne, Monique Goldsworthy of Williamstown, Ashley Tregus of Box Hill, and Shania Murray of Diamond Valley to round out the field of 10 in the women's A 1500 metres.
On your marks.
So seed times here for these girls. The fastest of them, Bridget Humphrey, looking at about a 4:30. Megan Dixon should be up there. She's got 4:32 entered, but it's a real tight field. All the girls running it around under that 4:40 mark.
And seems
so see how they go tonight.
Seems to be Sophie Coltish of Geelong Guild leading out the field, as it is well and truly pitch back here at Duncan McKinnon Reserve. Lucky we've got lights all around the track to bring you the footage here.
Plenty of good runners in this field. I dare say the last time that Gigi McEnany stepped on the track at Milers Club, she might have run a World Junior qualifier. Happy hunting ground for her. These girls still all intact. That's what you like to see.
So Coltish and Vickery, number 1 and 2 hip numbers, and number 1 and 2 in the race so far. McEnany tucked tightly on the inside. 77 seconds for that first lap. Monique Goldsworthy in the mix in the field as well, in 5th position right now, as is Ashley Tregus of Box Hill. So it really is a tight pack. Just waiting to see when the moves will be made and where they will come from. We've seen, well, early on in the meet today, we saw lots of people leading from the front and winning, lots of people leading from the front and get absolutely gobbled up. And just recently we've seen a few great pack races and the winner has just come out of nowhere.
I think that's what you can expect with these later races. As we mentioned earlier, the younger athletes tend to race in a lot of the earlier races and they get a bit excited, but you see with these girls, they all know what they're doing. They're all class in their own riders. Megan Dixon moves their way to the front. It's probably the best way to run, so these girls will have plenty of action still to unfold at the business end rather than the other way around.
So 2 laps down, and it is Dixon, Coltish, and McEnany, your top 3. Tregus right there as well. Goldsworthy just gets up on the shoulder of McEnany. Close to 77 seconds again for that lap. So pretty consistent running. They're all tightly bunched. Is anyone going to stand out in this next 400 metres? Is anyone going to fade off the back?
You can see a few of the girls are starting to get a bit edgy with 600 metres to go. They're starting to move their way around.
That's it. Bridget Humphrey taking the lead from Megan Dixon, her clubmate there. And a new player in this game in Sophie Coughlin from Sandringham has made her way to the front. There's been about 4 or 5 leaders so far.
Looks like
in
they're all
this
taking
race.
a turn. Nice teamwork from the girls, but it looks like Sophie Coughlin out in front at the moment. And she's just applying the pressure and seeing if she could break any of these girls.
Emma Hogan sits just behind her.
Bit of trouble at the back there for Dixon. Tangled up trying to get out, but she's made her way out now. And I suspect a little tangle up could ignite her here, and it has. She's gone to the front. She's gone past Coughlin, and she's applying the pressure here.
Did a bit of fire in the belly after a minor trip out the back of the field.
That's right. McEnany's still there.
And it's hard to discount McEnany over these last 300 metres. Such a strong 800 metre runner back in her junior days, 800, 400. So she's got a sprint on her, and she's proving it now as she charges away from Dixon and clubmate Bridget Humphrey.
You've called that well, Mick. Perfect timing. McEnany rising to the top here. She's just come out. She's got one of the better names in athletics, GG McEnany. And it's a good result that she's going to win it tonight, because we get to say it a few more times. But she's taking care of him here. Dixon fighting on strong in second placing. Head of the Deacon runner there. But it's all GG McEnany. She has well and truly picked apart this field. Nice patient race, played to her strengths. We know she's got a good kick, and she's executed well here. She's going to stop the clock in about 4:35.
And they'll be followed by Dixon, Humphrey, Hogan, Tragus, Goldsworthy.
Fantastic racing there from the girls.
And 22 of 22 here at AFC1, which is the men's A 1500 metres field of 10.
Okay, and we've made it the final event of this evening, event number 22, and is the men's 1500 metres A race. In lane 1, we have Jake Stevens of Mornington Peninsula. Lane 2, Alex Gruen of Old Melburnians. Lane 3, Peter Green of Box Hill. Lane 4, Cody Shanahan of the Mighty Western Athletics. Lane 5, Jeff Risley of Knox, who's already run at 800 earlier today, if we do see him on the start line again for this race. Lane 6, Matthew Hussey of Western Athletics. Lane 7, Ed Beischer of Old Scotch. Lane 8, Sam Williams of Melbourne Uni. Lane 9, Adam Spencer of Glen Huntley. And lane 10, Harrison Carr of Old Scotch.
Looks like we've got Will Lewis here, pacemaking.
On your mark.
He's got the hat on the outside there. You'll see him cross over shortly.
The famous pacemaker's hat.
That's right.
Will Lewis is the pacemaker's visor, should we say.
He's got those Rising Track Club shorts on as well. Yeah, maybe it's just a running advertisement right now, but let's see how he does his job. Good on him for getting out here tonight, giving the boys a tow. Early on, looks like Shanahan and Hussey. Good mates with Will Lewis. They're making the most of his deed. Risley's gone to the back after jogging in a 152, 800 metres.
If you don't mind.
This might be part of his recovery.
Can he go one of the first... I think there has been a couple of double wins in Milers Club history, 800, 1500 I remember, but yeah, we'll see how Jeff goes to fulfil that dream.
See how he goes here. You see Adam Spencer there in third placing, fourth if you count Will Lewis the pacemaker. Spencer's had a big year so far. I think he time trialled 149 in the 800 the other week. So he's in serious shape, still 19 years of age. So I'm expecting him. I think he's got his seed time entered at 3:53, but he's a lot better than that right now. And I think with Shanahan and Hussey and a few of these other boys, they can definitely work their way well under that mark tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. The likes of Hussey and Shanahan from Western Athletics have also had very solid off seasons as well. Just few time trials and a big sensible base period, so they're itching for a race. And tonight, perfect opportunity as they follow Will Lewis around.
And looks like a bit of action behind them there. It might be Edward Beischer and Harrison Carr starting to make a bit of a move. The red duo, Jake Stevens behind them in the orange of Mornington Peninsula. I'm really liking the look of Adam Spencer here. He's just looking nice and relaxed. Grown in confidence over this last year. He knows he belongs at this level and he will not be afraid to take it on. Will Lewis having a look over the shoulder. He might have done his job.
Is it too hot for Will right now? He might just slide off into lane 2 or 3 after having done his job after 800 metres, taking the boys through in a 2:04. So
fantastic job that.
It's a solid pace, pretty solid pace. I think they'd be looking to kick it down a little bit more from this point in the race though, as we see Spencer, Shanahan, Hussey and Beischer are your top 4. Peter Green, Stevens in the mix as well, as is Sam Williams of Melbourne Uni, who rounds the shoulder of Jake Stevens, but still up the front of the field, strong runner who has developed from his junior ranks in Adam Spencer.
You'd have to think Shanahan's just hatching a little plan here. He knows what he's doing, this man. He sat behind the pacemaker, now he's sitting behind Spencer. And we're going to see some fireworks over this final lap. We'll see how they go.
Hussey, another one of those athletes who would have been running World Juniors this year, but due to COVID had missed out. He's been looking to make a mark on this season, posting a couple of big times.
Adam Spencer is a very big fan of my flow track impersonation, so I promised him I'd give him one. So it's Spencer out in front, the 19-year-old freshman from Glen Huntly, starting to wind it up. He's got Shanahan behind him, and Hussey still latching on. There you go.
There you go. Yeah, happy Adam. Shanahan and Hussey follows him closely. Teammates from Western Athletics charging towards the finish. Is Hussey going to have a better kick than Shanahan? The older, wiser distance runner, but Shanahan pulls away from Hussey. Spencer might dip for second position in a time of 3:44, 3:45 for 1,500 metres. Awesome finish there.
Risley jogging in 3:46, 3:47.
He's had a pretty good night doing the 8:15 double. Some championship racing there.
How about the boys? You see Kang Nowak and Jason Clayton at the top of the home straight getting in the ear of Adam Spencer. Gee whiz. That was exciting, wasn't it?
Some quick times for a few young up-and-coming athletes. So great win from Cody Shanahan, just waiting, just tucked in for most of that race and made his move when he had to at the end. Hussey was always going to have a great kick, as was Spencer.
And fantastic racing to round out tonight's action.
And that does round out meet 1 of the Vic Milers Club. So 22 events we had tonight. Hoping the next meet at Box Hill, we might have a few more if government restrictions allow us to. So fingers crossed, we'll have more people racing out at Box Hill. Closer towards Christmas time will be the next meet in a few weeks' time. At least you can watch here on Athletics Exclusive. Thank you and good night.